Hello, Celebrity Apprentice fans. So, this is AI Champ 08 here. So, as well as my Amazing Race review, I'm also going to do a Celebrity Apprentice review of last night's episode. Just sort of give ideas of who could have been fired, what the reasons could have been, and also maybe the alternate result if. What would have happened if Lisa and Penn had lost? What would have happened? So basically, let's start with Team Power. So we had Mary Lou Henner as project manager for a second time. If everybody remembers, in the first task that she was project manager in, she was against Claudia Jordan and she won as project manager. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. As I was saying, before my Bing advertising thing on my computer cut me off, Mary Lou Henner had won as project manager in her last time as project manager when she competed against Claudia Jordan in the fourth task. This time, she wasn't so lucky on this one because she did lose project manager. Now let's judge who should have been fired from that team. I think there were reasons to fire all three. There were reasons to fire any of those three. Because we got Lil Jon, who wasn't able to get his DJing equipment. So that's obviously criteria for firing, but I don't think it is substantial enough that you can say that that was the main reason why they lost. The next thing that I could say is actually for Trace, and I honestly think it's interesting with Trace because honestly, if everybody remembers Trace from the first Celebrity Apprentice, because I know I do, he started off very much under the radar, and eventually throughout the competition, he sort of upped his game, started becoming the project manager a couple times, even though he didn't win either time. But he still was a lot more out there than he was at the beginning in his first time around. This time around, I honestly think it's the exact opposite. I think he started off very strong. He was project manager twice, actually, and actually won both times project manager. But I think I agree with Mary Lou that he has definitely checked out the last few tasks, and he really hasn't been all there. He's sort of been more the most talking he has done most of the time is in the confessionals. Especially the comment about Brandy's project being juvenile, which actually the executives agreed on that one a few tasks back. Let's get back to this task, though, trying not to get off topic. So that was definitely criteria for Trace getting fired. But ultimately, with Mary Lou, it was definitely correct to fire her, though, because honestly, the chess thing being her idea, I just don't see why she thought that was a good idea. I just think you're throwing a party. And the first thing you're going to think is, oh, I'm going to a party, let's play chess. Like, no, that's not a good party. That's not what you do at a party. I'm sorry. That was not a good idea. I think they really should have worked hard to not make it so literal, which was definitely falls on the project manager. And I think it was definitely difficult to say that difficult against Penn's line of celebrities that came for him. One thing I could say for Trace that kind of helps him get back in this thing is that he brought Hunter Hayes in. That was something very good. It was a good thing that he brought Hunter in there because that's probably the one positive aspect I would say of the whole thing. if I was at the party, like I wouldn't have loved everything else. I wouldn't have been a big fan of everything else, maybe except for the food. But and then Hunter Hayes comes in, he starts performing. There we go. This is a party. Okay. But I think a lot of the stuff that Mary Lou did sort of just killed it, which was with the chess game specifically. If anything, they were definitely correct in firing Mary Lou. Sorry. And now we're going into the final interviews next week. The final 4 interviews, which is going to be our final 4. Lisa Rinna, who I'm actually very surprised to see still there at this point, because if everybody remembers back from season 4, she got completely annihilated in the second task by Star Jones and Dionne Warwick. But you know what? Lisa has really held her own this season, and it is impressive to see. Then we got Penn. I think Penn, everybody saw the potential in him from the beginning of this season. I think the fact is his performance in the first time round was just a little bit sloppy the first time round. I guess we could say specifically the Walgreens incident. That's not what got him fired the first time round, but that was a pretty big one. But yeah, it's good to see Penn make it this far, and I really think if he gets to the final 2, I think whoever's against him better watch out, because he's got a good shot at taking this thing. Then we got Lil Jon and Trace. Personally, I'm not surprised to see either of them here at this point, just judging on their first time round. And honestly, Lil Jon's had the ideas straight from the beginning of his first time round, and you know what? He has continued to bring it every time in this season, and I'm not surprised to still see him here at this point. Trace is one thing I could definitely say for Trace, he's definitely been one to float under the radar, but honestly, his performances and tasks, I think, have been mixed between positive and negative, and I don't know if he can really win this thing. And now I'm going to go into kind of what I feel like is going to happen. Actually, no, let's get to that after, actually. Let's get to first what the alternative result would have most likely been if Lisa and Penn had lost in the really unlikely case, actually, that they had lost, because they really slammed it out of the park on this task. Penn specifically, getting Teller, David Burke, Lisa Lampanelli. That was genius, and he got the flute player, which was a really nice touch. Like, Penn, honestly, really slammed it out of there. But honestly, if they had lost, they would have most likely based it on that if he had lost, and it would have basically all fallen back on him due to the fact that he came up with all the ideas. And if in the rare case that they had lost, Penn would have been the one fired. But you know what? Penn is very good, and the fact is, those ideas were winning ideas, getting David Burke, Teller, and Lisa Lampanelli in there. Those were winning ideas. Those were ideas that could win him the whole thing in the final task. Lisa wouldn't get fired for that, because it's like she kind of relied on Penn as her teammates to get those ideas in there and really slam it together. Now let's get to the final interview stuff and sort of figure out, let's put a prediction in on who's going to get through and who's not going to get through. Well, the first things first, I think a big problem with Trace is that people are seeing that he's checking out of this competition, and I think very well Trump and the executives can see that that's not something they want to see once the final task comes around. And I'm almost afraid that if Trace gets through, that's what's going to happen, and he's going to check out. So I definitely feel like Trace is going to be one of the people that's going to get fired in the final four interview. And then if that happens, we're down to Lil Jon, Penn, and Lisa. Now, Lisa and Penn have both improved immensely since last time, and I think Lil Jon actually, not even because of his ideas, because his ideas have still managed to slam it out of the park, but slam each task out of the park. But the fact is, with Lil Jon's project manager record being a 1-1 project manager record against Penn and Lisa's 2-0, adding the fact that he's been on the losing team a lot of the tasks, I think that puts Lil Jon at quite a deficit compared to Penn and Lisa, and for that reason, I feel like Lil Jon is very unfortunately gonna get fired, and I hate to say that because I was a big fan of his going into it. I actually really thought going into it that he would be the winner of this season. I hope to see what you all think in the comments below this video, and hopefully, I hope to see any opinion possible. We got a phone ringing.
Call from Anonymous.
Anonymous, luckily.
Call from Anonymous. Call from Anonymous. Call from Anonymous.
And crap.
Call from Anonymous. Call from Anonymous.
Okay, good. Phone stopped ringing. All right, now back to what was had there. Basically, I think the fact is that Penn and Lisa will probably be the project manager. Probably not the project managers. They'll probably be the final two just because of those two criteria. Lil Jon's lack of team wins and project manager wins compared to them, and Trace just checking out of the whole competition, really, and because his mind's not all there. I hope to see everybody's opinion in the comment section below this video. And hopefully everybody watches next week on Celebrity Apprentice on NBC at 9 o'clock on next Sunday. Thank you very much, and have a good one.